Okay. All right, everyone. I think we are live. Hey, everyone. Roger Kibbe. I'm a senior. I got two screens down here. This is going to be very distracting. Can't see two versions of myself. Hey, Roger Kibbe. I'm a senior developer evangelist for Samsung Bixby, and it is just me today. Jonathan is out on paternity leave. So next time you see Jonathan online or something, you can give him congratulations because he has a baby boy. So just me today. I'm manning everything, changing cameras, checking everything out and things like that. So might be a little more latency. Usually two of us are on the controls, but looking forward to talking to you guys today about Bixby tips, tricks, and traps. And we will be doing a giveaway as we always do, but we're going to do it a little different today, the way you enter. But I'm not going to tell you quite yet how to do that. We're going to jump in and then I'll stop about halfway through my presentation and tell you how to enter the giveaway. I'll be giving away a couple of these A50 phones. So excited about that. Speaking of phones, I don't know if any of you saw the Unpacked event this week, and two new flip phones and folding phones. And I finally decided, you know what, I'm going flip. So I'm turning in my my personal phone, and I'm going to get not the fold. I'm going to get this Galaxy Z Flip, one that kind of flips like this. I'm super excited about it. Maybe I'll do a little unboxing video when it arrives in a couple weeks. But and maybe, just maybe, in a few months we'll be able to give away a couple folding phones. No promises there, but I would love to do that. If I can make that happen, that would be super cool. All right, so I'm going to talk about some Bixby tips, tricks, and traps today. Really showing you some things. I'm going to do it live. I'm going to live code and live demo because I'm crazy and I want something to break. No, we'll see. Hopefully nothing breaks, but I thought it'd be fun to do it that way. And as you guys have questions, because it's just me, you can go ahead and ask your questions in the chat, but it might be better to hold off until I'm done with the presentation, because otherwise I got to scroll through the YouTube chats and find all those things. So maybe hold off on that till I'm done. All right. With that being said, let me share my screen and move this window over here. And all right. And let's see. Share screen. And I got to show the Bixby Studio. Okay. All right. I am hoping you guys are all seeing the Bixby simulator up. It looks like you are from what I can see. All right. So first thing I'm going to talk about, and let me move some windows around. Once again, I said I'm solo here, so I got to navigate all the controls. So give me a break today. First thing I want to talk about is input validation. All right. Something really simple. But something you probably need to do in just about any voice experience, certainly any capsule you build, is you want to validate the input is valid. All right. I am in this example capsule. It's called air handling. It's among the Bixby sample capsules you can download from GitHub. And even though it's called air handling, it shows about air handling, but it also shows how do you validate inputs. So let me demo the capsule in action. And then I'm going to go jump over to the code and show you what happens. All right, so I start here saying validate integer. All right, and then it just wants me to enter a number. We'll just enter 101. Okay, what this did is it validated the input as 101, and it said, you know what? Boom, I'm going to actually halt the capsule. All right, so for input 101, it does a halt, so stops everything. All right, now let's do it again and validate an integer. And let's see, 42 is what I got to enter here. All right, so this is interesting. So what a replan allows you to do is I entered 42 as a user, and then I actually changed the input to 0 in the replan. All right, may seem a little unusual to do that, but there are use cases where you want to actually change or modify the user's input, but go ahead and run your action. So that's called a replan. All right. All right, one more here. All right, and so I'm going to enter 12. All right. All right, so a little more typical. So in this case, I entered 12 and I want an integer that's less than 10. So it just gave me a little prompt saying, hey, you need to re-enter it, and just went back to that input view. And so I can enter something like 9. All right, not a very sexy capsule, but the intention is not to be sexy. The intention is to show you how to do things. So let me show you the Bixby Studio. And I am opened up this let me make sure this should be pretty big for you guys. All right, hopefully that's pretty big on screen. I'm over here on this validate input. It's action, and that's why I'm doing all the validation. I want to back up for a second. A lot of you may say, hey, well, I'm just going to do my validation in my JavaScript, right? That's how I do it with pretty much every other voice assistant. Makes a lot of sense. You can do that, but I'm going to tell you, if you do it in your JavaScript, what you're going to have to do is then throw an exception and then handle that exception in your action. So for simple validation, I would argue, go ahead and actually do it directly in your action and not in your JavaScript. All right, so I'm going to show you what happens here in this action. Okay, so I have validate inputs. I'm collecting an input, an integer, if you're familiar with Bixby. All pretty straightforward stuff. All right, now check this out, validate. If the integer is equal to 101, all right, so that's a little Bixby expression language with an if there, then you saw it halted. So I say halt with that dialog, halting because you entered 101. All right, all right. So that's what happens when I entered 101. Now, if the integer equals 42, then what you do is do a replan. I have a dialog, and then I'm going to call, I have the goal of the integer, I'm passing 0 in. So remember when I ran it, I entered 42, but it actually changed the 42 to 0, and that's done via what's called a replan. All right, and then the final thing, so if it wasn't 101 and it wasn't 42, right, my final if, all right, I entered 12 and it said, hey, you know what, you're bigger than 9, so just give a prompt, and then it's re-prompts the user to say, enter an integer. I entered 9 and it worked. All right. So that's my tip number 1, is validating inputs and doing it in the model instead of in the JavaScript. Because if you do it in the JavaScript, you're still going to have to muck with the model, and you're going to have to throw an exception and then handle that. Obviously, expression language is limited what kind of validation you can do. But you can do things like this. You can do regular expressions. So look to validate in your actual action if you can and it makes sense. All right. All right. So second thing I want to talk to you guys about is matching patterns. Okay. Let me go over the simulator. Change over to the matching patterns. Okay. All right. So matching patterns. Okay, match patterns. They are the glue that makes everything work in Bixby. And I got to tell you, when I first learned Bixby, they're the most confusing thing to me. I'm like, what the heck is this craziness? But I think if you've done some Bixby development, you know what it is, right? It glues together the different components in Bixby. For instance, it says, okay, here's your action. Here's the output of your action. Okay, here is your dialogue. Here's your view that when I get the output of that action to actually show. So let me show you this in action, and then show you how you can be a little more sophisticated in your matching patterns, which is definitely very powerful and unlocks doing some cool stuff and make it easier to code with Bixby. All right. So this is this example matching pattern, once again, up on GitHub. And I can say something like, hey, we'll just use the speaker. What the heck? Find a business. Find a pizza. I don't know how that happened, but anyway, it worked now. So I can say find a business, but I can also say things like, now that I see it, I want to say call them. Call them. All right. And so it gave the phone number, and then I could say something like navigate there. All right, and really didn't navigate there. It really gave the address. You can actually open up. Bixby has a way that you can actually integrate with Google Maps and actually open it up and do actual navigation. So maybe this should have been show the address. All right, nothing too crazy here. I just 3 commands. I showed a business. I asked for the phone number. I asked to navigate. What's interesting here is the code behind this. So let me jump over here. We can close this guy. I'm in this matching pattern. All right. So if we look at these actions, find business, right? Is an action. It just outputs a business, but navigate is outputs a business, and call outputs a business. All right. So you have 3 actions here that actually output a business concept. All right, so how, when I go to do my match patterns, do I handle that? All right, so look at this business result view. Pretty familiar, right? So match, when I output a business concept, this min and this max are just because of this layout macro. Sometimes you don't need to have that. Then going to show that's where it showed the actual business information. All right. So that was number 1. But then look at this guy. So this is when I said call business. All right. So look at this match pattern. And this is the point that I want to show you. All right. Match a business, required max. But look at this line, from output, call business. All right. So this is getting a little more sophisticated in the match pattern. It says, okay, match when there's a business concept that's an output of an action, but that action must be call business. So that's when I said call them. It actually went to this view instead of that generic business result view. All right. And so the way Bixby works is, the way match patterns works is they go from the most specific to the least specific. All right. So it tried the most specific. This is more specific than this guy. And then it said, okay, are you, yeah, I see there's business. Are you from the call business action? Yep. All right, I'll render this view. If not, go to the next view. And then if you look at from navigate there, same exact thing. All right. So I'm matching business from the output of navigate there. All right. So from the output of the navigate there action. Right. And I am telling you that getting match patterns are super powerful. You can go check it out. And there's a bunch of cool stuff you can do with them. But what's really great is if you really take advantage of match patterns, it can make it a lot easier. A lot of your stuff can just be model driven. You don't need some crazy code that branches and does this and that and sets variables. That's all going to be done in the model. So my point here with this tip is to look at match patterns and understand them. You know, tons of capsules just look like this, probably not even with this cardinality, just match business, boom, and then show it. And your capsule may have that. But if your capsule gets more sophisticated, definitely think about using match patterns and how those can help your capsule. All right. So let's take a break. And I said that we're going to do a giveaway. And I said that we're going to do it a little bit differently. Here's how we're going to do it. All right. So Bixby developers tweeted this morning about this. Here's what you need to do. Let me do this for you guys. Here's the Twitter link. Let me jump over here. What's going on here? All right. All right. So I just put the Twitter link there in the chat. Here's what you need to do. You need to go there and you need to do two things to be eligible for the giveaway. One, if you're not already following Bixby developers, you need to follow Bixby developers. But two, you got to retweet that tweet. All right. So the way you enter the giveaway is retweeting that tweet that I just put the link in there. So retweet it, make sure you're following. And then right before we end, I will go check out and I'll take a look at all the retweets and then double check and make sure you're following. And, if there's 20 of them, I'll pick 2 of those and those will be the winner of the phone. All right. I'll tell you about that again, but let's jump back to our demo. All right. Let's get this distracting stuff off the screen for me. All right. Sorry, 2 screens, guys. That's why I keep on turning this way. Can't do my work without 2 screens. All right. All right, scope of concepts. All right, so let's jump over here. Back to the studio, reset. All right, so I'm gonna go to my echo input. If you guys have seen any of my tutorials, so I do the Bixby Tech Tip of the Week tutorial. It's another reason to follow Bixby developers because that's where I put it on there. Pretty much every week I do like a 2-minute tutorial. And I've probably shown you some of the things some of these tips. Matter of fact, I looked at those to give me inspiration for today. I've done like 80 of them actually. So kind of crazy. But anyway, I use this echo input capsule because it's so simple, but it's a great way to show a bunch of concepts of Bixby. All right, so now if I go and I say start, hello world. All right, simplest thing possible. He enters some text that echoes what you said. All right, now you see there's this conversation driver down here, echo again. All right, so that means that I should be able to say echo again. Whoops, something happened. It didn't go to that input. All right, I'll bet you've seen this in your capsule. I've seen this a million times in my capsules where I'm like, wait a second, and remembered the last input. All right, even though I know the solution, I still do this. And that's why I wanted to talk about it today. So the problem is, let's jump over to the Bixby Studio, close that. All right, an echo input. The problem is that when you have a concept in Bixby, the scope of the concept is by default session, not request. And if I am right, some of the other voice platforms out there, the default scope is request, not session. So what happens is, boom, you entered it, it's request, it's in session. I gave that input and then he asked for it again. And so, well, Bixby's like, well, I already got the value in session, so I'm just going to go to the result. So how do you do that? You got to change the scope of that to request. All right. Pretty simple. Okay. And this model in Bixby, here's this text I input. All right. How do you do that? I have it commented out, but this features transient. That's the, if you command / is how you comment and uncomment things. Features transient, that goes and makes the scope of the input is now request. So now if I go back to the simulator, all right, compile this guy, reset, start. Hello world. Echo again. Hello world again. Oops. Oh boy. All right, now I have a bug here. What is going on? Oh, I know. Start. Hello world. Hello world. All right. I don't know what was going on there. The gremlins, because this is why I'm doing a live demo to show you gremlins happen. But that behaved the way I'd expected, right? So I entered and said, hello world. It showed me the result. And I said, echo again, or clicked on it here. And then it reprompted me. And I entered hello world again, and it did it. So that's because I changed the scope of that concept to request by changing, just adding features transient to that. Okay, super simple, super well known. And I am telling you, I at least me, maybe I'm the only one who does this. I forget this all the time, and I get weird behavior, and I start tearing my hair out and debugging. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just didn't change it to transient. So that is your third tip. All right. All right. Fourth tip. All right. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but now if I say add to workspace, we got something pretty cool. Create capsule from sample. What this does is it goes out to GitHub and grabs, not everything, we keep on adding them, a bunch of those sample capsules. So instead of, what do you normally do? You want to go to GitHub, you go to GitHub, right? And you either download the zip or you clone the repo, right? And you get a bunch of stuff you got to do, right? What we made it super easy to do is, let's say I want to load a sample capsule from GitHub. I just do that. Now, if I open I can see all these sample capsules from GitHub. And there's a bunch of them. I am going to open, where are you? Rock, paper, scissors, real simple rock, paper, scissors capsule. All right, so just that capsule ID, boom, create a local copy. Voila. That's a lot easier, I'll tell you, than even going GitHub, download the zip, unzip, load it, or GitHub and git clone, etc. I love this. I think it's super cool. All right. So if you want to load something from GitHub, check out create a capsule from sample. That is my next tip. All right. All right. So now we're going to run this guy. I'll show you my final tip. All right. So let's change to rock, paper, scissors. All right, so let's go ahead and start this guy. All right, I don't know, rock. Darn, Bixby won. All right, now if I just click play again. All right, the tip I want to show you, tip, or maybe this is a little bit of a hack, but it's one of my favorites. This is pretty basic, right? What I want to do is add some graphics here in the simplest possible way. All right. So we can just click paper. All right. So now if I go over to the code in the Bixby Studio, rock, paper, scissors. All right. There is a couple views. There's this hand result view. There's a hand selection view. All right. So this is where it actually prompts me and says rock, paper, scissors. And that is an enumeration. All right. So there's it. This is the user hand. There's this iterator. All right. The value is 1. On click, just pass the value. And here, look at this. Content, primary template. So this is just what shows you rock, paper, and scissors. All right. I'm iterating over this enumeration, and I am showing you each of the possible values, and you can click on them. But I want to add an image here, and that's where I want to show you my, I'll call it tip/hack. All right. So I'm in this cell card, and all I have is the required slot 2 here filled in, but I'm going to add an image in slot 1. All right, so I'm going to go slot 1. All right, image and URL. All right, and I'm going to go shape circle. All right, here's where I'm going to get interesting. All right, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this guy, do that in the URL. All right. And then what I got to do, let's say images slash value1 dot png. All right. So let's look at what I did. Right now, think about this. This outputs rock, paper, or scissors, the text. Right. So what I did here is I said, hey, look in the images. And I'm just grabbing the value of that iterator. So rock.png, paper.png, or scissors.png. Well, lo and behold, and this is actually used in that result view, this same pattern. I have a paper PNG, a rock PNG, and a scissors PNG image. So I added an image just by kind of hacking together this URL by using the value of the iterator, rock, paper, or scissors, and then appropriately naming my images, and then referencing the URL in there. So let's go see this guy run. All right. Cool. Look at this. Rock, paper, or scissors. Now I got my desired image, and that's what I wanted to do. So we'll select paper. All right. So that was just by adding this slot here and then kind of hacking together this URL. And indeed, in this capsule, the result view does the same thing, actually. Look at this image URL. It does the exact same kind of hack by constructing the URL using the name. This is something I love to do. There's obviously other ways to add content here. You know, kind of the traditional, I'll say, official Bixby way would be to create a constructor. And the constructor would have both the image URL and the name in it. And then you'd, as you iterate through, you'd use both of those. Totally cool, very valid, great design pattern when you need it. But if you're doing something super simple, you just want an image, I personally really like this hack. I call it a hack / tip. All right. So, and if you guys want to see this, you can just load rock, paper, scissors. Obviously, this code isn't there, but the hand result view uses that same kind of URL hack. So you get an idea of how that works. All right. All right. So with that being said, I am going to finish up. That's all my presentation for today. So let me stop the share. The screen over here so I can see you guys, and let's see. All right, so I'm going to give you once more. Let's see what is going on in Twitter. Actually, let's see you guys doing here. I think so. Ooh, I got 19 okay, good job, guys. Awesome. You guys want to win a phone? I could see that. But if you haven't done that yet, what you got to do? Let me copy this link. All right, like I said, I got to navigate 20 different places, throw it in there in the chat. If you didn't do this before, what you need to do is go over there, click on that link. That will go to Bixby Developers, our Twitter presence. You need to do two things. One, you need to follow us. And then two, you need to retweet it. And you follow us and retweet it. And then what I'm going to do before we end today is I am going to look at all the retweets, validate your follower, and I'll choose 2 of those people to win one of these phones. So simple as that. All right. With that being said, I'm going to open it up to Q&A. I'm going to have to, okay, my head's going to swivel a little bit. Let's see if I can get these in the same screen. Once again, just me, not Jonathan. So with 2 people, one person doing this, all this kind of navigation stuff, and I work with dual screens, which is great, but I like to look at you guys. I'm going to open it up. Questions, any questions you have about those tips that I just gave you, anything Bixby related, anything at all. This is kind of an ask me anything type of session. And now I can look at actually the chat. So go ahead and throw those in the chat, and I will do my best to answer your questions. All right. Let's see, Adrian. Oh, you have you have flip, would do a fold, but like the original Moto Razor one. Yeah, I don't know. I work in the software side. I don't know what the plans are for the fold, but um, they got the two form factors right now, the Z Fold, which has the outside screen and then flips open to a tablet, and then the Z Flip. Sounds like you're talking about a Moto Razor. That sounds more like the Flip, right? The Moto Razor was the old phone that went like this. So the Flip is like that, actually. So the Flip, it folds together. There's an outside screen that's small, and then it folds up. So you might check out the Z Flip. Maybe that's what you're looking for, or maybe something else. I have no influence on the hardware team, but I do think these folding phones are pointing to the future. So anyway, other questions you guys have, throw them in the chat. Don't be shy. Let's see if anybody asks anything else. All right. Well, let's see. What can I tell you about what is coming? All right. We have some really cool stuff coming this year. That I will tell you. I will tell you that Bixby's going to be on some new devices. I think they'll be pretty cool. So hang out for that. We have some enhancements coming that will, I think, do some pretty cool stuff with how you develop. So I think the latter half of 2021 is going to be pretty cool Bixby wise. And that's about all I can say, but I'm just giving you guys a hint. And as soon as I can say something, I obviously will say that. Any hint of special features for the foldables? Oh, that's a really good, wow. I love that question. Okay. I do not, so there are special, so if you're an Android app developer, you can do some cool stuff like the flip, where like you do it in YouTube and you show that the top of the screen that's open is the YouTube thing, and then the bottom is there. And even some people have done some games like that. I think there's an old Nintendo game that looked like a flip. So you can just, I haven't seen right now yet Bixby, but that would be I love that suggestion. In the Bixby UI, in the views, be able to detect you're using a fold or a flip. And where that's really interesting UI wise is because you can half open the phone, right? So you got it like this. I don't know if you guys can see it so well. Wish I had the phone, man. We'll have an office hour in 3 weeks. I can show you directly the phone. But the top half can be different than the bottom half. Because you're looking at the top half, you look down at almost like two screens in one. I'm not aware right now of a plan immediately to add Bixby support for that, but I really like that form factor. I think there's some really interesting innovative things you can do. I do know if you're an Android developer, you can do that. So that means it's available. So it's available. There's an opportunity to add it to Bixby. So I'll pass that idea on. Was Unpacked in person this year? No, all virtual. And there's going to be Samsung's in a software developer conferences here are going to be virtual as well. I think with COVID and then we thought everything was going to get better, and now it's not so great. With Delta and things like that, I think every company has their own way of doing it. Samsung's pretty conservative about this, so everything's going to be a virtual. I will tell you, personally myself, I am dying to go back to conferences. So any of you who have ever met at a conference, it's my favorite place to be. It's my favorite part of my job. I roam the halls. I try to talk to everyone I see and things. So I'm dying for in person, but I'm living in the virtual world for now. But maybe I'm hoping to go. There's a voice conference in December that I'm hoping to attend that is going to be in person. Nothing to do with Samsung, but I think if you go to voicesummit.ai, you can get some information there. I think it's in Arlington, Virginia. There. All right. The only negative folder wasn't the upgraded camera. Yeah, like I said, I can't speak to anything about the hardware plans and things. I do like the fact they did a bunch of work in making the screen better. I'm excited to see it. So excited to see. It's not my fold. I get the flip because I want the flip. No virtual. I'm not sure, Adrian. No virtual I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Maybe you can clarify this. Oh, okay, Junior. Good question. As the Tyson's. Okay, yeah. So in the watch, so this is a really good thing, and we talked about it on Wednesday there. So the new watches are actually going to switch from using Tizen to Google's Wear OS. All right. So okay. So well, I could talk a lot about this, but I think one of the big things there was around the amount of Tizen apps in the watch marketplace was low compared to the amount of Wear OS apps that Android developers done was high. So it opened up all those Wear OS apps. That being said, Samsung by a mile is the biggest Android or watch developer. Okay, Apple's number one, Samsung's number two, and then I don't even know who's number three, but they're a small fraction, even of what Samsung sells. So Samsung has sold a lot of watches, but on Tizen. Now it's Wear OS. It'll still fully support Bixby, I'll tell you that. But it's going to open up the kind of ecosystem, the software ecosystem that Google has for Wear OS with the Samsung hardware. Because one of the problems with Wear OS is the hardware has had poor battery life. It has had some limitations, been slow. Whereas the Samsung watch has always had pretty darn good battery life and been pretty fast, but it's been wearing Tizen. So it was a marriage of hardware and software. So when I know more details about that, maybe I can share them and any impacts on Bixby, but I will tell you that expect the Bixby on the watch for now to stay the same on that new watch 4 or I bought a watch 4 too. Man, I spent some money this week because I want to upgrade. I have the watch, the Galaxy Active 2, and I want to see it with Wear OS on it. All right. All right. Good questions, guys. Not too Bixby specific, but I can talk about anything. I love talking. What other questions do you guys got? And is everyone gone? Oh, let me flip over here and see what's going on with her. Oh, we got 22 retweets. Okay, guys. So if you haven't retweeted that, please do. And make sure you're following us because that will make you eligible. I need my iPhone 11. So poor. Yeah, I can't speak to, I live in a divided family. I have teenage daughters and they're all on their iPhones. So I have both OSs and I flip between the two of them things. I'm kind of neutral because I use both of them. I'm kind of neutral. I see one works better. They're pretty similar to me in a lot of ways, but anything new coming for the marketplace? Good question. So I never can talk about future things coming. I don't know if so I wouldn't say there's anything radical coming marketplace wise. I think more the features and functionality that are coming are more going to impact you and how you develop. And like I said, there's a couple new devices coming. So it's going to make it easier for you to develop, a little more modern for you to develop. And then there's a couple new devices, which will be pretty interesting that will have Bixby on them. You might get excited about, but that's all I can say. Me too. I carry both Android and iPhone. Yeah, I don't know. So I walk around with 2 phones in my pocket, right? And so, I can't. If you have teenage, like I can't get my daughters off. It's iMessage, right? Like they're stuck on it. So I'm fine. I use both phones. I use them together and it works great. All right. Will there be a Samsung developer event online for announcement? There will be. Boy, I don't know. There's SDC and let me see if they even have a URL up for it. I think it's in October. There is October. Let's see. I'm just searching on Google to see if there's something up there. I'm telling you something. All right. It is, let's see. So STC 21. I think it is in October. Boy, they haven't announced the dates. Okay, it's in middle of October. And yes, we'll be talking about Bixby at that and give you some. That is going to be all virtual. Being virtual, it's going to be a little more abbreviated versus what's in person. I'm super bummed. I wanted to be in person. I wanted a bunch of sessions. I wanted to run around and meet everyone, like people like you that I only know from YouTube or people I only know from Twitter. But that's coming. But yes, in October. Maybe by 2025. I don't know what Adrian, I think we'll be, hopefully we're in darn person by before 2025 that you're referring to. That's going to make me really sad. Make sure you have the next event schedule, please. Yeah, I do. Yeah, so if you guys go over, the next event, the next office hour, thank you. We were getting a little bad there. If you go to Eventbrite, actually, I'm like, let me do this for you guys. What do you think, guys are thinking? Go ahead and think of some questions. To different user, Bixby does. I have like 6 different Eventbrite logins. I don't know, it's kind of crazy. Manage my events. Let me just get you guys the links. So we got them all scheduled to the end of the year. All right. All right. Keep the questions going while I'm clicking. Like I said, I'm solo today. Why are you not behaving? Okay. All right. Yeah. So if you go over to Eventbrite, I'm trying to find, I thought there was a page that showed all of them and things like that. Okay. Well, I'll just show you that here. I'll show you the link for registering for the next one. I'll put that, go ahead and put that in the chat. All right. So that will be on September, Friday, September 10th. We'll be doing another office hours. Boom. All right. So we got them scheduled through the end of the year. All right. Boy, my browser's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. All right. All right. My Android to Samsung. Well, thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. Great day to make Android a Samsung, Bixby email reminders to get it scheduled. Yeah. So yeah, I will tell you if you have an older. So one thing Samsung's really good about is offering some pretty awesome trade-ins for your old phone. So I have a corporate, they give us a phone. It's pretty new. But I had my own Ultra 20. And so I actually traded that in, the Ultra 20 for the Galaxy Flip. And it ended up saving me like $650 off the Galaxy Flip. And so the whole price of the phone is like $999. So that was pretty cheap to get a flip phone. Admittedly, I had to trade my old one in. So it's a good thing if you got an old phone. Even non-Samsung phones you can trade in. Yeah, I think even iPhones. I'm not sure. All right. Flip for real. Yeah, I'm excited about them too. So yeah, we'll jump on and think. Jonathan actually has the Flip, the previous version, the Flip 2. And it works pretty well, but I think the screen was not quite, you just had to baby it. So I think the screen's going to be less baby. All right. Never again raffling Bixby shirts. Heck no, baby. We're raffling some phones now. Maybe we'll do shirts again. We'll do shirts in person. So when you guys come, we do an in-person thing. We give away a lot of shirts and pins, and that's kind of stuff that we do in person. All right. All right, guys. Can Bixby integrate with an S Pen? Great question. No. Well, yes and no. So if you take an S Pen, right, and you can tap anything on the screen, but is there an ability to actually, so like when you pull out the S Pen, and you actually can do some interesting things. There isn't Bixby integration there. I would be super curious, your guys' thinking around what you'd like to do. If you have a note, and you'd like to, where's my note and things like that? Yeah, what do you do? Like pull this guy out, this pen out, right? And what would I do? Okay, yes. Super secure, right? And then I get this special like menu on the side, and I can do cool things with the pen. I'd be really interested, actually. That's an interesting idea. What the heck could I do with Bixby and the pen that might be unique? So then you got two modalities, right? So now I got the phone screen, but now I'm using a pen, and now I can actually talk. I love that question because I can't say yes, there is. But why I like it is I think there's something there that could be cool. I'd be curious to hear what you're thinking about there, or creativity there. I get very excited when I think about combining ways of interacting with our technology in new ways. So pen plus voice. All right. I'd love to win a shirt, Junior. Okay, so Junior, you're saying you want a shirt back and things. All right. Let's see. Next office hours. Let's see if we can get some shirts. All right. We'll do some shirts and phones and things. Shirts are a little cheaper than phones, and then we can give away a bunch of shirts. Let me see. Let me see what's going on. They all been locked up in an office because of COVID. So using a pen with multi-window support to feed in the Bixby text insertion. Cool. All right. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, let me pass that on, like that feedback. And watches, please. All right. So are you just getting excited about the watch, right? So Bixby does work in the watch pretty darn well. I believe if you develop Bixby on the watch, I believe it's the only voice assistant that truly has a UI in the watch. Somebody can correct me. And so I think it's interesting. I find the watch one of the more compelling devices to think about building for, just because you got this tiny screen and you got voice. And so how do you combine the two and design? And I don't think the industry has built enough interesting things for watches, and I like them. So, all right. Okay. All right. So I'm getting the message. You guys want some shirts. All right. No problem at all. We'll get some shirts, man. They're locked up. We got some Bixby shirts, and we'll give away a bunch at the next office hours. So, or come to something in person, and we'll do that. Certainly something at an event and things like that. Maybe if I can go to this event in December, Voice Summit, maybe I'll bring a bunch of shirts with me and just randomly hand them out. Or if you find me and ask for a shirt, you get a shirt. We'll see. Let me see if I can figure out if I can do that. All right. Other questions, guys? Any other questions about, we've had a lot of really general conversation around Samsung and devices and things, but any questions around Bixby development, around those tips that I gave you? Talked about error handling, match patterns, the scope of concepts, that GitHub integration, which I love, and then adding images, that hack. You guys have any questions about that? And let's see. Wait a minute. Let's see how we're doing. All right. So we got 25 people who've retweeted. So 25 people are eligible for the giveaway. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, let me give you guys a second or two. There's no reason. I guess we could do the giveaway, couldn't we? We could end a little early today and do the giveaway. I guess you guys want that, huh? Is that what you guys want? All right. So, is Bixby going to get a standalone device like an Echo? That's a great question. I can't say yes or no, but I say stay tuned. Let's leave it at that. All right, guys. So I think we've dried up in the questions, which is cool. We're going to do the giveaway. All right. Now I'm going to have to jump among multiple screens and handle this, right? I'm solo today. So give me a break, guys. I am going to go over to our Twitter feed. Oh yeah, they offer. Oh yeah. Oh, that's awesome, Adrian. If you turn in an iPhone 11, you get 600. In your case, 600 pounds off. Yeah. No, there's the trade-ins on Samsung are awesome. Actually, kind of makes it easy. If you want to buy the latest phone, you can trade in your new phone every year. It's really the way to buy them, right? And then also if you pre-register, right, they'll send you out a thing, pre-register, and then you usually get like 50 or $100 for accessories, right? Like, some earbuds or chargers or things there. But anyway, all right. So I just refresh here on Twitter. All right. So we got 27 retweets. All right. All right. All right. So here's what I'm going to do, guys, because I'll tell you, we'll do this. I can see if you followed, actually. All right. So I am going to, yes, you're super secure, aren't you? I am going to ask Bixby for a number between, 1 and 27, and then I'll just take that off the people who retweeted, and then I'll just validate that you're actually following Bixby developers. And if you are, we're going to be all good. And you know what? I want something to make sure you're following. All right. All right. All right, I'll just do it off this screen. All right, so, there are actually 29 retweets. I will get some last minute, 29 retweets. All right, that's it, man. Between 1 and 29. All right, fire this guy up. Give me a number between 1 and 29. Oh, it's attached to headphones, but it says the number is 20. All right, so I got oh boy, I made my life hard. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Charlie C, and you are following us. Okay, so Charlie C, what you need to do, Charlie C on Twitter, is you need to DM me. You need to DM me. Or no, you know what? You can if you DM me, Roger Kibbe, or DM, I guess you can DM Bixby developers too. Either one will work. With your email address, and so then I can send you an email, or we can just do it via DM. What I'm going to need from you is an address and a phone number to send that. But congratulations to Charlie C. All right. And Charlie C, are you there? I don't know if you're there right now, but all right. All right. Now, he's a nice guy. We'll see if we got any more retweets. Did we go above 29? Oh, we went to 30. All right. So we'll go 1 to 30 this time. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. You're locked up. All right. Give me a number between 1 and 30. All right. Good. The number is 7. So the 7th retweet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ramesh, I know you're on there. So, Ramesh, congratulations, man. You won the phone and things. I know you were on there at the beginning because I said hello to you. Ramesh, so same thing, Ramesh DV. You need to DM Bixby developers and just say, please, winners, please DM at Bixby developers, or myself at Roger Kibbe on Twitter and we can get the prize to you. All right. Not sure there's a code 101. There are a bunch more. Okay. All right. So, all All right, guys. So if you have any last minute questions or thoughts, please throw them in there. Otherwise, as I said, we will be back on October 10th. We'll be giving away some phones then. And I heard you loud and clear. You guys want some t-shirts. So we'll give away some t-shirts on October 10th. And the two winners, please make sure to DM me or Bixby Developers on Twitter. And then you can we'll get those phones out to you. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a fabulous rest of your Friday. I know you're probably all over the world. So some of you it's Friday, may even be Saturday for some of you. But have a fabulous rest of your Friday and have a fabulous weekend. And thank you for being patient with me. Doing this solo, man, I had to like juggle a bunch of things. It's much easier to do this with two people. And I don't know if John will be back next month. I think he will. So with the newest Bixby developer, his new baby. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much for coming.